Okay. Well, welcome everyone, and hopefully there's going to be some more coming in late. Thanks for being here. A special thanks to Kathy with Alma Waterways. Um, so I have booked this cruise um, in November of 2022, and I am so excited. I have my wine ready. Only it's not a French wine, so I'm hoping that on the cruise I'm going to get some better wine. Not that California wine's bad, but I don't know. I'm thinking that on this cruise I'm gonna find much better wine.
For
So
sure.
so I'm super excited. And Kathy, you go ahead and take it away, and I'll watch to see if people come in. And then if you guys have questions, just post them in the chat, and at the end we'll go through all of them and answer. Make sure all your questions are answered.
Okay, we're going to slideshow and then from the start. Okay, is that my intro slide?
Yes, it is.
Yay. Okay, so are we going to have some folks on here, Tara, that are not river cruisers?
There were several people that I'm not sure. There's
Okay,
several
what
new
about
people.
Michael? What about Michael? Tara,
I'm not sure.
Michael, can you unmute? Hello? He doesn't want to.
Okay.
Okay. So I just don't know how much depth to go into as to what is river cruising before we get to, okay. All right, so I will just start with river cruising is not a big ship cruise. Right there, you're going to see a river cruise ship on the Danube River in the wonderful city of Passau. And this is how far you are from the shore. This ship carries 156 passengers. So that's a really, really big difference between 2 to 6,000 passengers. Also, if you see a price difference included, it's because a river cruise includes everything. In our case, we're including 4 to 6 excursions in every single port for you to choose from. A specialty restaurant with a private chef, a beverage package that includes the premium fine wines of where you're sailing, and a Wi-Fi package in case you need to stay connected. So we always have to start with the rivers. You're talking about the Rhine River up here, which actually comes out of the Swiss Alps and empties into the North Sea. Rhine River's up here, Danube River's down here. They're now connected through 15 different countries from the North Sea to the Black Sea. So you're going to be talking about the Rhine and the extra special, wonderful little river called the Moselle. So first of all, how do you summarize? How do you nail down what is river cruising? Well, here it is. One simple sentence. Oceans will take you to a country, but only the rivers are going to take you through those countries. Typically, what's happening on a big ship is you're going to come into a port, you're going to get off in that port, you're going to have 4, maybe 5 hours in that port, and then you're going to sail away. Have you really experienced that destination? So in this case, you are in the heart of these cities, towns, and villages. You can see where the ship is docked on the Danube in Dürnstein, literally walking off the ship. But we're not just doing walking tours. We're doing bicycle tours. We've got a bike tour that goes from this little town to the next little town. We've got a hiking tour that goes up this hill on the side up to a castle ruin. And we also have a culinary tour here because this is the place that is famous for apricots. These people can do apricot everything. We're talking apricot schnapps, apricot candy, uh, and all kinds of things. It's just a very, very special little town. Small family-owned company. Want to summarize what is Alma Waterways? Alma Waterways is a family-owned company that is now 18 years old. We're going to hit 19 pretty soon. That'll be in July. We're still totally family owned and operated. So this is not a big corporate mentality. This is not corporate management. This is family ownership. We say when you sail with Alma Waterways, you become part of the Alma family. Now we got our name because of the Latin derivation of the word love. Amo, amas, aman. Amore. That means love. That's why we're Alma Waterways. So 3 families own this company. They still completely own and operate this company. And they do not direct market to the public. So if you're thinking, well, how come I haven't ever heard of Alma Waterways? It's because you're not going to see us advertise on television. And I don't know if it's there right now, but when you walk into Costco, there used to be this big wall on the side filled with travel brochures. Almost not going to be there because we're only providing our product through travel professionals like Tara and Georgia. So that's the way we operate, always have, always will. Fabulous people here that you can reach out to at any time. We also are 18 years old and we have a total of 22 ships. Now that's different because that company that is on television with those beautiful commercials, we won't talk about the name, actually they have 75 ships. So there's a big difference with quality control and management of 22 ships versus 75 ships. The other thing that's really critical here is that the mentality of these 3 families told them if they built something, they paid for it. So this little line right down here is a quote from our esteemed leader, Rudy Schreiner. There is no debt on any of our ships, so he can sleep at night. Now, how many companies are we worried about? How many family-owned restaurants are we worried about that they will survive this insanity? Well, Alma Waterways will be here because there's no debt on any of our ships. So we also took it a step further last year. From July till November, we operated on the Rhine River. Now that meant we only could have European guests, but we did. For 4 months, with over 1,500 passengers, we operated safely, conveniently, and wonderfully on the Rhine River. So what did we do? This is what we will do if we have to come out of it on a modified basis. So we did facial coverings, but only when you're moving around the ship. Okay, we did temperature checks every single morning and when you were boarding and disembarking. Exploring ashore, we're already talking about excursions with only 15 to 20 people. The guide wears a microphone, you've got a chip in your ear, you don't miss anything. Lots of social distancing on board and on shore. We did the sanitized luggage on arrival, and the most important thing, the ships that were designed by Rudy included no recirculated air. So if you're in your cabin, stateroom, if you're in a public area, if you're in a dining room, it's all fresh air. That's a huge advantage for us. So we're actually talking about the Rhine, the Main, and the Moselle. Now you've heard of the Rhine. I bet you've never heard of the Moselle. And I hate to tell you this, folks, but that is the most beautiful river over there. This is the wonderful little town of Kochheim with this castle up here that you can actually tour. And of course, the buildings right along the river. It's a smaller river. It's a less traveled river, has some beautiful vineyards along the way. Rhine River is the main river in Europe. It is huge transportation area. Again, beautiful scenery as you sail along these rivers. And you're never out of sight. There's no sea as in SEA day. Every day is a sea as in I see this. Look at this village coming up here with this wonderful church right in the center of the village. So you can enjoy this beautiful scenery every single day. Now, I'd never asked Tara which direction we were going, so I'm just going to go through the ports because the ship does go both directions. So Amsterdam is at the beginning or at the end. It's a wonderful city. At one time, it was the richest city in all of Europe. Everything was based on seaware and commerce. Beautiful architecture here, skinny little houses, because the footprint of the house determined the taxes that were paid. So they built skinny little houses and they built straight up. Over 100 canals with bridges over these canals. Just a magical city, absolutely. There's a stretch you're going to sail called the Rhine Gorge. The Rhine Gorge, you're going to sail for about 4 hours during the day, and you're going to pass over 40 castles along the way. And of course, the cruise manager will be there narrating the stories of each castle, whether it's in the river or on the edge of the river. You're going to learn all of this as much as you want to learn, but absolutely scenic area and very, very special. If you want to do a little bit of reading, this is a recommended book. It's Father of the Rhine Remembers, about the Rhine River. Again, here's vineyards on one side, here's a castle up here, and you're just going to sail along with this beautiful scenery. Lanak Castle is something that we do. It says over here, it's an Alma Waterways exclusive. And that means we have partnered with the family. This castle has been in the same family for, I'm sorry, I can't remember how many generations. They still live in this castle. Well, what they do for us when we visit Lanak Castle is we try to time the visit to this castle right at sunset or in the evening, because what the folks do that live in this castle is they light the entire castle and the courtyard with candles. So you're going to tour the Lanak Castle by candlelight. Very, very special experience. You're going to go to a very small city, actually my favorite city on the entire Rhine River. It's called Rudolph. Rudolph, again, is vineyards everywhere. We're best friends with this vintner who owns these vineyards, Adolf, and Adolf has a tour there, and it's like switchbacks because you're going to go up a hill. So you're going to come up a path, and at the switchback, you're going to be offered a wine taste. And then you're going to go up to the next switchback with another wine tasting. Absolutely beautiful scenery overlooking the river, and you hear the story of this family-owned winery. Again, the scenery from this is just beautiful. Doesn't matter what time of year you're going. Spring is fresh and green. So is the summer, fall, the colors turn, the yellows and the oranges of the vineyards. Now, one of my favorite cities in the world is the city of Heidelberg. Heidelberg is on a river. It's not the Rhine, it's the Neckar River. And it has these stone bridges that cross it. And that is a castle. That castle, Schloss Heidelberg, overlooks this entire city. Everything here is built with the red sandstone, so it actually glows. Heidelberg also has the oldest university in Europe, the Heidelberg University. And, oh, by the way, ask me how I know this one. It has the longest shopping street in all of Europe. In fact, these earrings came from a little shop in Heidelberg. I'm not going to tell you how many years ago. And then the other end of the sailing is in Basel, Switzerland. Basel is a wonderful city inside Switzerland. It's kind of the heart of pharmaceuticals, and what could be more important these days. but it's a very rich city with beautiful architecture. Christmas time has a lovely Christmas market. So then okay, here's the Rhine up here, right? Rhine, 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 Rhine. Where's the Moselle? Here's the Moselle. The Moselle comes off of the Rhine River and actually sails parallel to the lower part of the Rhine. So what are you going to see on the Moselle? Now, the Moselle is a smaller river. One thing you've got Trier, which is this ancient city. And of course, those would be Roman ruins. Absolutely, so many of these places have the aqueducts and the Roman ruins. Remember I showed you that picture of Kakheim? Well, here's a picture of Kakheim from above it, looking down. You can see it's a fairly small river, and it also has some of the steepest vineyards anywhere in the world. And like I say, these vineyards are gorgeous no matter what season of the year. Aren't you scheduled for fall, Tara? Okay, so you're going to see the
Yes.
golds and the orange and the beautiful colors there. This is an active castle, and we do actually tour this castle, not just sail by it. We always have the option of bicycle tours, hiking tours, and culinary tours. So actually, these are paved bike paths. They were the original tow paths to pull the barges along the rivers. Now they're biking and walking paths. So in our case, you can literally bike from one port to the other and pass the ship and just kind of wave as you go by and be waiting for the ship when it arrives in the next port. We do have an optional land program where you can add 2 nights in Amsterdam. Again, you can see these skinny little bases of the buildings. You'll also see that they tilt a bit too. When you move into one of these buildings, what you're going to see up here, that is actually a hoist or a lever that sticks out from the building, and the rope comes down, and you can actually move your furniture in by hoisting it up here and bringing it in through the windows. Very, very special architecture, whole culture that lives on the river boats here as well. So the optional land, once you're in Switzerland, if you would like to do that extension, gives you 2 nights in Lucerne and 2 nights in Zurich. Wonderful extension, incredible scenery here, and then you have another optional of 2 nights in Paris. So I do have one very special offer. It's only being offered for people who attend one of these virtual events in March and April. It is one sailing. In this case, it is the Romantic Danube on October 24th. If you chose to join this sailing, we could offer it for you 2 for 1. So it's a great deal. It's only open for attendees that watch this, participate in this, or actually see the recorded version as well. Great deal if you want to do the Danube, and you can sail in October. 3 quotes I always wrap up with. The first one is attributed to Buddha, and Buddha speaks to every one of us when he says, you know what the trouble is? You really think you're going to have time. You're always going to feel this good. You're always going to be able to travel with your kids, your grandkids, your aunts, your uncles, your nieces, your nephews. How many of us know somebody, especially in this time, that thought they had time and they didn't? So, you know what? You can always make more money. You just can't always make more memories. And nothing makes memories better than travel. Mr. Carson, that wonderful character from Downton Abbey, said it best when he said, you know what? The business of life really is the acquisition of memories. So I'm telling you, travel with those families, travel with those friends, reality check here. How many things didn't happen over the last year? How many of these things are we going to make happen now as we go forward? So I'm going to take this back to Tara, maybe. Where are you, dear?
I
Hmm.
still have, I'm still
There
here.
you are.
I'm here. So, oh, wow. You just made me want to go even more now. I want to rebook my room.
There you go. You can do that.
I'm watching you going, I want to book that. And then I'm like, but you already booked it. So, but I do have, I know that there's a few people that weren't able to get on here tonight, but they wanted to. So, oh,
Thank
okay.
you. Food hype.
Pollen season.
Yep. Oh yeah, for sure.
I know everyone's car is green here in Georgia, but so have you done this particular cruise before, Kathy?
I have done the Moselle, and
Okay.
it is such a special little river. I mean, it's so off the beaten path. It's not as crowded. You don't see that much ship traffic. You don't have that much port traffic. It is a very, very special. And Christine says herself, it is the most beautiful river, and it is her favorite.
Ah, okay.
The
Now,
Rhine and the Danube, but the Moselle is so special.
what about the wine? Do you know anything about some of the wine
Oh, it
tours and stuff?
doesn't get any better than the vineyard. What I told you, they're the steepest vineyards in the world. You think they're growing bad wine there? No, they're growing fabulous wine there. And of course, what we're serving on the ship is the premium wines from where you're sailing. So, for instance, I know everybody's heard of a Riesling wine, and basically over here, I can't stand a Riesling because it tends to be sweet. But over there, a Riesling will be dry. There's
Really?
some from the Wachau Valley called a Gruner Veltliner, just absolutely special. You're going to get a wine called Zeller Schwarzkatz, which is called the Black Cat wine. You're going to get wines you probably have never heard of. And of course, you can definitely buy them and bring them back or ship them back. But just wonderful wines through this region. Absolutely.
So one of the questions that people might have it, we can buy the wine, but is it like the big ships where you have to hand over what you bought and then you don't get it until the end of the cruise?
We do not guard the gangway. If you would like to bring a local wine, a local beer, anything you want to bring on board with us is just fine. If you're going to bring a bottle of wine and a loaf of bread and some cheese, and you're headed up to the top deck, you're going to have a lot of friends.
That is, I knew what the answer was, of course, but I wanted to, because that's what's so much fun is at the end of the day, you find your local. When I was on one of the river cruises, tulip time, so Amsterdam round trip, um, we brought a whole bunch of cheese
Oh,
and
yeah.
other people. Oh, and we just, um, had the wine that they gave us on the ship, and there was a bunch of us. There's a group of us that were wine and cheese people.
Oh, is there? I could, if I had a good couple cheeses, that would be my dinner tonight for sure.
Yes.
And I swear the breads over there are so, so good. I mean, I cannot find a good German bread anywhere.
So describe a German bread?
It's more dense, but like the baguettes they would have a very light crust to it. I think they don't use the preservatives, just like in the wine. They're not going to add the sulfate, so you're getting a very different taste. I mean, the little roll that they put those Nuremberg sausages on just cannot be duplicated. I mean, I can buy the sausages and I can bring them back here from Nuremberg, but I can't duplicate the bread. And of course, we have our own pastry chef on the ship. So, which is my downfall. So they got the fresh breads every single morning for breakfast and the pastries as well. So also don't worry about the usual cruise weight gain, because on a river cruise, you're going to walk so much. I have only gained weight on one river cruise, and it was the year I had as a goal to have a sausage in every port. That one cost me.
Okay.
But other than that, I've never gained weight on a river cruise, because you're going to walk or you're going to hike or bike or do any of those excursions. So
Now you did. Go ahead.
I would say this is a very, very special itinerary you've picked.
Thanks. What kind of wines will we expect?
Mostly white wines,
Okay.
some reds as well. But they're family-owned vineyards, and they do some very special things that are, you know, like the new wines there are excellent. You don't have to wait for a wine to age. They've got these fresh wines in the spring and in the summer that are absolutely excellent. Some places have these little family-run locations, and in Germany it's called a Heuinger, and it's a little facility that the family runs, and it's filled inside with like picnic benches, and the only thing they're serving in that Heuinger is wine, cheese, and wine bread and hard sausages, hard meat.
That's all you need.
That's all you need. Absolutely.
Wait, where's the chocolate?
And the best things about that is it's family run, it's very seasonal, it's open like a month at a time, depending on the harvest. But the best thing I love is inside that Heuinger, there's no television.
Oh,
Those
nice.
people come into the Heuinger, they sit down at 6 or 7 in the evening, and they stay there all evening, and they talk to each other.
Awesome.
I just don't think it'll work in Roswell or Alpharetta, but I could give it a
So what about so is the food very European? Is it French? Is it American? What's the food like?
Our dining on Alma is always regional cuisine as well as standard American cuisine. Okay. Presentation is beautiful. We're a member of a culinary society called Les Splendors, if that isn't a mouthful. And it means every bit of our food has to be locally sourced. We
Okay.
have no frozen food on an Alma ship. Even the fish is coming from a local fishmonger. So Rudy declared this 18 years ago. He would never have frozen foods on his ship. Presentation is gorgeous. We can accommodate any dietary need with the exception of kosher. We've got it covered for vegan, vegetarian, gluten-free, all of those we can accommodate, no problem at all. We have
Well,
2 dining venues on every ship. We have the main dining room, which is very special compared to other river cruise lines because we have tables for 2, tables for 4, 5 top tables for the solo travelers, and 6 and 8. And it doesn't sound like a big deal until you drill down with the other river cruise lines, and you're going to find almost every single table in their dining room is a table for 6. So that means breakfast with 6 every day, not just dinner. We also have the chef's table restaurant, which seats 24 to 26 people, has a private chef in a demonstration kitchen preparing and plating a 7-course paired wine dinner. And there is no charge for dining at the chef's table. We are the only river cruise line for every single ship to be a member of Splendor.
awesome. Georgia, do you have any questions?
I don't think so, but I do have to say, Kathy, I always love to sitting in on everything that you do, whether it's something I'm going on or not. I get tons of information, but your description of everything, I feel like I'm sitting there. And I just, like I said, every time I go to Fred, I'm like, okay, we got to book this one too. And so we're signed up for our Christmas market one, and we might have one for June of next year. But I would love, this wine one sounds phenomenal. And I've been to Heidelberg. My sister was stationed there. So I've been to Heidelberg many times. I would love to go back. So
love Heidelberg. Absolutely. Yeah,
Now,
absolutely.
Georgia,
So which
did you take out a group for your Christmas market one?
I did.
Okay.
Group space. We just started marketing it. So.
Okay. So yeah, I was just gonna let India, because there were several people that signed up for this that weren't able to attend, but if they're interested in that, I will pass on that information. And
okay,
the same.
Yeah. I will, if they come with us, I will entertain them for you if you're not with us.
Yep. If well, that whole B word that I work.
Yeah. So
makes
we'll see.
makes the Christmas a little.
Yeah, I get that.
Christmas markets were my addiction.
Oh, I
I-
can't wait. You know, one of my first, I was an Army brat, so we were stationed in Germany. We moved there when I was 3 months old till about I was a little over 4. And one of my first memories is a Christmas market. And we went back as an adult in my 20s and just have not had a chance to get back. So you were supposed to go last year, of course. But this year we're going by hook or by crook. We're going to be there.
Well, I'll have to look at your dates because depending on the dates that you picked, I might be able to swing it.
Okay. Well,
Magic, absolutely magical. Which river? Danube or Rhine?
oh gosh, Danube.
Be still my heart.
I can't wait. Very excited.
Oh, I just yeah. I just love I love river cruising. And I tell you, so when we were talking about the food, it reminded me when I did Cambodia to Vietnam, the Mekong on Alma. Back then it was the Lotus, and I don't know if she's been renamed or
Newer ship that Alma Lotus is the one that I was on. Now it's the Amadara.
yeah, but I was on the Lotus, and I remember the chefs and some of the kitchen guys coming in with all the food. And we spent like 3 days in Cambodia before we got on the ship. And so we couldn't eat. And I'm a huge salad person. I love salad, especially in the summer months when it's hot. And I
It's
couldn't
always summer there.
yeah. But I couldn't eat any. We were told, you couldn't eat any fresh vegetable unless they had a peel. So a banana was okay, but an apple was not. Lettuce was not. And so I was like 3 days plus a couple of days traveling, it seemed, to get there. I was like, I just want some lettuce. And I remember boarding the ship and I saw lettuce and I thought I would cry. I get a salad. So yeah. And I had my fill of salad because then we stayed in Vietnam for a couple of days. And again, I don't think Vietnam is quite like Cambodia, but again, I've got the weakest tummy in the world. And so I was like, nope, not going to try it.
One of the things you might remember, Tara, is on the Alma Lotus, there was the regular dining, but there was also an Asian action station where was this Asian chef standing at a table with all the ingredients in front of him. And you could go over there 3 meals a day and point to what you wanted and get it either as a stir fry or one of those absolutely fabulous soups, the pho soup. Well, Rudy is moving all of our European ships to have action stations.
I don't remember the action station.
Oh, yeah.
I was over there in 2015. Was on there then?
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
You got to go back now.
I know. Oh, I would love to go back to the Mekong. It was so incredible. It's life changing.
That's the description. That's exactly right. It is life changing.
It's you just want to come back and you just want to slap Americans when they cry that, this or that. And you're just like, the happiest people on earth live in Cambodia. They have nothing.
Yeah.
The Buddhist culture is such a cheerful culture. It really is.
Yes. Great service, being blessed by the monks. That was, that was just moving.
Yes.
It was a little weird, whatever. But then when you got into it, it was just like, wow, and I found it interesting that they don't have Social Security. And so their Social Security is you become a monk. So basically when your parent becomes old, they become the monk and then you're supposed to bring them food once a week. But basically the church takes care of them for the rest of their life. That's their retirement nursing home.
Interesting.
And they don't pay taxes. So the river or the lake, you're supposed to get on and see them reap, but the lake was too low. So we had to drive to the mouth of the river, 90 miles.
On a rough road.
Way rough. It took us 6 hours to go 90 miles. And this was the best highway they had in the entire country. So
I mean, have you ever seen a rubber tree plantation?
no.
Then
Oh yes, yes. No, and it was just fabulous. It was just amazing that the and the first stop we went to had a potty break and beer was like 50 cents. So right then and there the click was made. The people that were over there that drinking the beer, that was our click, and then we stayed, and it wasn't even really a click, it was just instant friends. And beer was like 50 cents. So we downed like two of them, grabbed two more for the bus. We get on the bus. They failed to mention that the road is a lot worse after the first stop. So we're drinking our beer, and then all of a sudden, and then it's like we're four. I mean, and all of us in the back were like, oh my gosh, we're going to die. Then our second stop was at a bathroom that was a real Asian bathroom. So you had to pay to go in, and then it was a hole in the ground. Now, keep in mind, we've already had like 4 or 5 beers. But you know what? We still ended up buying more beer. But when I got out of that bathroom, I told my boyfriend, I said, well, first thing we do when we get on that ship is I'm showering. And one of the other ladies heard me and she goes, ah, I know what you did because I did the same thing. We got on the ship and all of us were like, see you in a minute. We got to go shower. I mean, so it was just, I mean, but it was still just happy. Like, I mean, how often do you get to do that? So it was awesome. And so I'm super excited about this one with wine, and I'm going to send this to the people because I have their email address if they registered, send it to them. And I do want to say, if anybody books between now and the March 31st, I'm going to send you a bottle of wine for booking. And we just have to, and the reason I have to do it now is because you put your deposit down and I'll send you a bottle of wine. In the summer months, I can't send wine. You just have to let me know if it's red or white that you prefer, or sweet or dry, whatever. And I will send a bottle of wine to you as a special incentive because I just want to go and I want more wine lovers on here.
awesome.
Yes. And this particular cruise that I have currently, it is $750 off. So
Yes.
April 1st, that's going to go up. So that's the other thing is their savings. Plus I'm throwing in a bottle of wine. And on the cruise, you also get a bottle of wine. And I can't remember all the other details right off the top of my head, but I'll send all the information to people.
And the deposit is only $400 per person. And then there's nothing else due until 90 days from sailing. So if you're talking about
November, October, August.
November, yeah. So yeah,
So August of 2022. So gives you like
a
year and a half.
Yeah.
And I can certainly break that up into monthly payments or pay as you go. You go to the casino and win $500. Call me and tell me you want to pay $500. So, and I plan on doing a pre-night and a post, or pre-cruise and post-cruise. So I'm all excited, but I will be sending everybody any information. And does anybody else have any questions? Because I could sit here and talk about river cruising and wine all night, but I don't want to take up everybody's time. So thank you again, Kathy. Probably do it again, like maybe next fall. They won't get the $750 off, but give them another chance.
Thank y'all for having me. I got to go take care of the puppy.
Okay.
Bye-bye.
All right. Bye, Kathy.
Bye. Bye, Georgia.